Hey, all my friends, it's Matthew Street. Welcome to my channel. So happy you're here, and I am happy to be back making another video. It's been a long time, folks. As over a month ago, my dad passed away, and thank you to everyone again for your condolences and kind words my way. I appreciate it. But right after that was all complete, and we had a lot of things to do and think about when that all happened, my wife and I, Mrs. Street, we barely had time to breathe after all that and his services ended and dealing with that situation, that one of my sons had an opportunity to go on a well-earned vacation and asked us to babysit our youngest granddaughter, our youngest grandchild, and she's a toddler. And we had the opportunity to do that and have her with us for a week and a half and really bond with her and enjoy time with my youngest grandchild. So we did. And as you know, any of you that have children that have been toddlers or a grandchild that's a toddler, you know and understand that you don't have any other time for anything else. Okay, making videos, cutting the grass, sweeping the floor, making your bed, doing a lot of things, or showering or bathing, When you have a grandchild around that young, and it's beautiful, it's wonderful. I had a blast. Mrs. Street had a blast. We bonded with her. We played with her, did a lot of fun things during the time we had her, but it takes up a lot of your time. And so I didn't have time to even think about making a video. So here I am, all right? She went home this morning with mommy and daddy, and Papa is here to make a video. Okay, so folks, a while back, I did a video about Ringo's February Sky song when the single was released and the little video that came out for it, and gave my review of it. And as you know, if you saw that, I was very favorable on it, okay? Well, as I told you, I didn't have the patience. I don't have the energy anymore to participate in Record Store Day. I don't feel like going out there at 5 in the morning, 8 in the morning, standing in a line. Just doesn't appeal to me anymore. I don't need whatever's there that much that I can somehow get it some other way eventually. So I don't do Record Store Day anymore. But I don't begrudge anyone who does it and loves it. I just don't do it. So I couldn't get, on April 20th, Ringo's Crooked Boy EP was released on a special limited edition marbleized black and white vinyl. Great. And the song came out February Sky, which I reviewed. Not coming out officially on CD or black vinyl issue until May 31st. But on April 26th, only a few days ago, it was released digitally. The EP did come out in full digital form, so you could hear and really get into all 4 songs, and that's what I did. So I'm here now, even though I don't have something to show you. I will put it in the thumbnail. You will see a picture of the EP, and I'll have its title and everything. It will be there, and I thought I'd do my review of it because I've had time now to listen to it over and over again several times, and I think I can do it. I think I can give you a review of it. Now, Linda Perry was involved heavily in this 4-track EP, the 5th in Ringo's canon, as it were, of 5 EPs. The first one that came out was Zoom In. Remember this one? And then Change the World came out. You remember that one? And then EP3 came out. And then we had Rewind Forward, and I'll show you the cassette I happened to grab. Okay, Rewind Forward. So that's the 4th one. And now we have Crooked Boy, 4 tracks, as I said. Linda Perry wrote it. She produced it. She had a strong hankering to work with Ringo, and she told him that because she worked with Ringo on the great, great song, probably my favorite song on the EP called Change the World with Coming Undone. She was part of that song, and that's probably my favorite on that EP. And then on the EP3 release, she was very involved in Everyone and Everything, which is another one of my favorites from that EP. So she was batting 1,000 for me on those 2 songs with those 2 EPs. So now she said to Ringo, I want to do a full EP with you, Ringo. And Ringo said, sure. He was all behind it and said, sure, Linda, go for it. Write me some good tunes. Let's go. You produce it. Let's do it. So they did. And Linda designed the cover. She was involved. Now, Linda Perry, for those of you who don't know, she was involved many 30-ish something years ago with a band called Four Non Blondes, kind of a new wave-ish alternative rock act. Didn't last long. they had like one big hit and kind of whatever. I won't tell you the whole story, but they kind of imploded and it didn't really go too far. And she got more involved in doing some solo stuff, which did okay. Not, wasn't too well known. But then she got involved in doing producing and writing songs for other artists. And she's had great success in doing that because she's a very talented songwriter and whatnot. So she got involved with Ringo full time, doing the full boat with him, the full EP. And so she did this 4-track EP with him. And I got to say, they did a pretty good job. All right. I'll say it in a nutshell there. Crooked Boy came out. I listened to it. The first song that came out, February Sky, I give it an A. That's the first song on the EP. It's a very positive sounding, mid-tempo to upbeat rocker. It has great guitar work on it, as I told you in my review of the song. I won't go through everything again, but I just found it to be a great song for Ringo. And Nick Valenci is the guitarist on this entire EP and on February Sky. He's with the band The Strokes, if you remember The Strokes, a big alternative rock band from not too long ago. And he does a great job, Nick, on guitar in this song. And as I said in my review, I thought this was a cool release for Ringo. I give it an A because I feel this EP in general, overall, is a more stripped back, raw, out of the 5 EPs he's put out. And I'll just hold them up here for a second. You got the 5 EPs here. All right, here's the 4. These 4 are so produced. All right, and that's not a bad thing because, I rank these in different levels, but there's songs I like on each of these EPs that Ringo has put out, but they're very produced. They're very produced, very similar, in a very similar style. The sound of these 4 is very similar in the way they're done and the way they're presented. And whereas the new one, Crooked Boy, has a more stripped back sound to it, a more raw rockin' sound to it. And that's a good thing, I think. I think it's good to see Ringo change it up instead of the same old all the time. He's changed it up a little bit on this EP. His voice doesn't sound as processed. Now, I'm not saying Ringo's full out like Cher on Do You Believe, with that crazy auto-tune like back in the day. But there's definitely some enhancement on Ringo's voice on these EPs, in my opinion. I'm not saying to a great degree, but there is some cleaning up, I think. I think there's a little bit of studio effects, which many musicians, even younger singers today, use. So I'm not begrudging Ringo, but they have a certain sound to it, these EPs. The new one, Crooked Boy, doesn't as much. If it does have some enhancement to Ringo's voice or effects on it, you don't notice it as much as you notice it on the older EPs. You really don't. It sounds more like Ringo's singing naturally on this EP. His voice sounds more natural, more right up front. And if anything, it even shows you on this EP that Ringo's voice is starting to age a tad. Because on these, you listen to him, you go, oh my God, Ringo sounds amazing. He just sounds like old Ringo. And on this new one, Crooked Boy, he sounds great for an almost 84-year-old man. I think Ringo sounds wonderful. But, on this EP, it's more real. It's more, you can see Ringo's voice has aged a little bit. There's a couple little parts on it where the voice is a little more tired than it was back in the days when he was a much younger man. But it's not a bad thing. His voice has not been weathered as much as Paul's has at this point in his life. But on this EP, I salute Linda and Ringo for going more au natural with Ringo's voice. And it doesn't sound bad. It just sounds more real to me, more down and dirty and gritty and raw, stripped back Ringo. And I like that about the whole production of this EP. So let me say that right off the top. And as I said, I like February Sky. I give it an A. All right. Now, the second song is Adeline. Now, this one I give a C. All right. This is where it drops a bit for me, and I gave it a C. It's a slower pop tune. It's got a couple of Beatlesque aspects to it with some, I'm hearing some brass in there. I don't know if it's natural brass or synthesized brass because I don't have the EP to see credits in front of me. But, it's got some Beatlesque aspects to it on Adeline. And it's a nice, pleasant song. I don't hate it, but it is a drop off for me. I really love February Sky, and when Adeline came on, it dropped for me. All right, it went down to a C. All right, now the next track is called Gonna Need Someone. Now I'll give this one a B plus. This is a good little rocker. Ringo told Linda Perry, I heard an interview with him, that he said, Linda, I don't mind you doing this EP, but give me a rocker. You know, write me a good rocker tune out there. I want to rock a little bit. Hey, hats off to Ringo for still wanting to rock at almost 84 years old. And Linda came through with Gonna Need Someone. She used Nick Valenci, again from the Strokes, on guitar. And it's a fast-paced rocker. It's got the cool guitar licks and tones on it. It's the final song she did for this EP. Ringo asked her to do a rocker after the first three, and it's just got rollicking, rocking drums from Ringo. All in all, Ringo sounds good on drums on this EP, but particularly on Gonna Need Someone, he sounds really good. And I'm going to give it a B+, okay? It's a pretty darn good little song, good rocker. And then the final song on here is Crooked Boy, the title track from the EP. And I think I'll give this one a B-. It's okay. It's pretty good. Again, I like the guitar tones on it. I think Nick Valenci sounds good. I think Ringo's drumming sounds good. I don't know who else is playing, but the instrumentation sounds very good on it. It's a slower rocker. It's got a nice, pleasant, catchy melody to it. And it's about him being a teddy boy in the older days, but instead of calling it Teddy Boy, they called it Crooked Boy for this EP. But it's basically about his youth and, you know, being a rough and tumble young guy out there and, you know, getting into some trouble and partying and whatnot. And like I said, Ringo does sound a little rough vocal-wise on here, but I'm not saying it's bad. He sounds natural. He sounds good, you know, for someone his age. And I'm glad they stripped back some of that, you know, studio enhancement that you hear it on these other EPs, and it's more Ringo natural, and he sounds pretty darn good. All right, it's not a put down of Ringo. I like it like this. I like the stripped back raw sound of this EP. Now, is it exactly? Can I come here and give it an A and say, oh, it's the best out of the 5? I don't know where I'd rank it yet, folks. I'd have to really think about the 5 EPs and think how I'd rank them and whatnot. But because there's good and bad on all of them, you know. And on this one, like I said, Adeline, I gave it a C, but it's not something I'll go back to a lot. Crooked Boy, I gave it a B-. I don't know how often I'll really I don't think I'd put it on my Ringo playlist or anything like that. Now, February Sky, I'd put it on a Ringo playlist or Beatles solo playlist. And like this, maybe with Gonna Need Someone, I gave it a B+. Maybe I'd put that on like a playlist. But what I'm saying is, folks, they're all like, what's the word? Sufficient EPs from Ringo. What I'm saying is, if you're not a Beatles or Ringo fan out there, if there are younger people out there that aren't into really solo Beatles or Ringo, they're not going to be into this stuff that much. They're not going to be buying the Crooked Boy EP, I don't think, unless they're a hardcore younger millennial or Gen Z or Gen X Beatle fan. I don't think they're going to, you know, seek these out or seek out Crooked Boy. I just don't think it's going to happen. But for us Beatle fans, especially us older fans and younger fans who are really into the Fab Four and the solo Beatles, yeah, they're going to want Crooked Boy. It's a decent little EP. It fits in to the canon of Ringo's EP releases. It's nice to have now that we're going forward and looking forward to this alleged full country album from Ringo that's coming out, which a lot of us are excited for. Yeah, I'm happy to get Crooked Boy. I would rather have it than not have it. I think it's pretty darn good. And that's all I'm going to say about it, folks. So I think overall, I'll give this EP a B. All right? If you want to look at the Matt Street crude, rude, and obnoxious chart here, there you go. All right? When the first one came out, February Sky, I had it way up there at the A level. And then my little graph went down a little bit for the next song, Adeline. Came up again, though, and then for Crooked Boy, the final song, went down a little bit again. So, you know, I'm going to give it a B. I will give the Crooked Boy EP a solid B. It's good. All right? For a Beatle fan, a solo Beatles fan, a Ringo fan, it's good. That's it. 15 minutes, I want to be out of here, and I made it. All right, I'm out of here. Happy to be back making a video for you. Please comment. What are the other things they say? Like, share, comment, subscribe. Do the hokey pokey. Turn yourself around. That's what it's all about, right? So Thank you. I appreciate being here. I love you all. I'll be back for another video soon. I'm hoping to have another edition of Paul McCartney, The Truth, very soon, once my millennials and my Gen Zs come through for me, and they know who they are, they'll come through for me soon. Love you all. Bye-bye.